watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I am merely Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. I have the top 15 free agents that remain available to sign after the 2024 NFL Draft. We're expecting free agency to kind of pick up over the next couple days, where some of these guys could end up with new homes here in the coming weeks. We'll go over the full list in just a moment. Before we do, I need a roll call here on today's show. I know we got fans from all across the NFL. I want you to shout out your favorite team in the comments section. Who is your team? Who do you rock with on Sundays that you'll be rooting on this season? Shout them out in the comments section. Show them some love, and we'll get started. We begin with Tyler Boyd at the wide receiver position. Tyler Boyd coming off a solid year with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been arguably the best number 3 receiver in the league the last several seasons. Last year, had a total of 667 yards, 2 touchdowns, 10 yards of reception. There's been talk about him going to the Chargers, maybe the Titans potentially. We'll see what happens with Tyler Boyd, where he ultimately ends up. But Tyler Boyd could be a sneaky good find for somebody. Odell Beckham Jr., maybe the most notable name on this list. Last year was with the Baltimore Ravens, had an up-and-down year, showed some flashes, but struggled to stay healthy coming off the ACL injury, as he did not play in 2022 after the Super Bowl win against the Los Angeles Rams. And I think you have to keep realistic expectations when it comes to OBJ. You're not getting the version we saw in 2019 for the Cleveland Browns when he had over 1,000 yards that year. But if you can live with OBJ getting 600 receiving yards potentially and probably not playing the full season, I think he could be in good shape for somebody as a good fit for somebody that's trying to have an explosive passing game. I also look for OBJ to play for a contending team. I think the top options out there for him potentially, you're looking at the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, maybe it's the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see where OBJ ultimately ends up. Speaking of the Cowboys, should they sign OBJ? Let us know what you think. My favorite question around here at Chat Sports, should the Cowboys sign OBJ? Type OBJ for yes. Type no BJ for no. That's OBJ for yes. No BJ for no. Let me know in the comments section. The best quarterback left in the market, Ryan Tannehill, formerly of the Tennessee Titans. He will be a backup somewhere, but a backup with a lot of experience. He's started several playoff games over the years, began with the Miami Dolphins, ended up going to the Tennessee Titans where he sat behind Marcus Mariota, won that job, and took Tennessee to the AFC Championship game. Hasn't gone great for Ryan Tannehill the last couple of seasons, but we've seen that he can step in these situations before where his name wasn't called upon initially and then got the job done. Did a really good job leading some teams, specifically the Tennessee Titans, to new heights. So I'm looking for Ryan Tannehill. If your team needs a backup quarterback out there, not the Atlanta Falcons, that's for sure. If you're looking for a veteran, Ryan Tannehill could be the perfect fit for your team on that front. More to come here on NFL Daily, but first, let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's goals in hockey, rebounds in basketball, birdies in golf, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And we have here on Prize Picks a very good entry here, I think, personally. DK Metcalf to have more than 1,025.5 receiving yards this year. Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards himself. If you put $20 down and this hits, that's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with us. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Prize Picks today. Donovan Smith also on this list. Donovan Smith, a Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he has been replaced. He'll move on elsewhere, and he is the top offensive tackle on the market right now. Coming off a season where his PFF grade wasn't anything to write home about, 55.4, Did allow just 2 sacks. Did allow a lot of hurries, though, 33, and a lot of penalties, 9 to be exact. Dalton Risner, next on the list at the offensive guard position. He waited a while for his name to be called last season in free agency. Ultimately ended up playing for the Minnesota Vikings and did not allow a single sack last year in Minnesota. I think that the Baltimore Ravens could be a potential good fit. They're still looking for help at that offensive guard spot. Look out for Dalton Risner potentially to be a name in Baltimore. Conor Williams, most recently with the Miami Dolphins, and there's some flexibility with Conor Williams. You could have him as a center. He could be a guard. He started at both in this league, and he was one of the highest-rated centers in the entire NFL last year with an 86.5 grade, just allowed 1 sack. I know that the Seahawks have a young center in Olu Oluwatimi, but Seattle might be better off going with a veteran like Conor Williams, who's proven that he can get the job done like we saw last year in Miami. Don't sleep on the Seahawks as a possibility for Conor Williams. Who is your player that you want your favorite team to sign? We're going through the full list today. We've already gone through several of them, got more to go. Weigh in the comment section, let us know who you want your team to add. For the best NFL coverage around, you got to subscribe to NFL Daily by Chat Sports. 375,000 strong, and we're not stopping there. We're bringing you daily news and rumors. We're live twice a week. We're live for the big events across the NFL as well. Lock us in. There is no off-season on NFL Daily. Stay up to date. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Emanuel Ogbah. I like Emmanuel Ogbah a lot. He has been slept on his entire career. The former Oklahoma State Cowboy won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, began his career with the Browns, most recently was with the Dolphins, and last year still had 5.5 sacks. 2 years ago, had 9 sacks. Also had 9 sacks in 2020 as well. If you're looking for a cheap edge rusher option, Emmanuel Ogbah could be your guy. You can never have too many pass rushers, a really nice rotational piece there. Speaking of pass rushers, Yannick Ngakoue, also on this list as well, was with the Chicago Bears last season. Prior to that was with the Indianapolis Colts. And Yannick's season wasn't what it was lived up to be for the money he was making there in Chicago. Only had 4 sacks. The year prior had 9.5 sacks. What version of Yannick Ngakoue will we see in 2024? That remains to be seen. Father Time is undefeated except against Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell has been fantastic over the years. The former Atlanta Falcon and Baltimore Raven. He has done it all. And even last year, at his age, still had 6.5 sacks and 17 QB hits. He's not retiring anytime soon. You need help on the defensive line, give Calais Campbell a call. Let's go to linebacker position. Shaq Leonard on this list. Shaq Leonard still looking for his next option. And it wasn't the best year for Shaq Leonard last year, bouncing from Indianapolis to Philadelphia. Had a total of 88 tackles, 1 sack, and 4 tackles for a loss. But if you need help at linebacker, look out for Shaq Leonard there. The corner position. We got to run on corners now. Xavier Howard, who had an up-and-down year with the Miami Dolphins. He was ultimately replaced by Kendall Fuller. He is still available as well. Howard had 1 interception, 45 tackles, and 12 pass breakups in 2023. More names to get to in just a moment, but let's ask you, where is Xavier Howard ultimately going to sign? I could see the Cowboys slipping in there. If you can't get Stephon Gilmore, who we'll talk about in a moment, can't bring him back, look out for the Cowboys. Maybe the Carolina Panthers potentially. Let us know where you think Howard's going to sign. Adarius Jackson also on this list as well. Not too old either. Just 28 years old, Adarius Jackson is. Last season, had 63 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 1 interception. The man that we teased just a moment ago, Stephon Gilmore, also on this list, the former Defensive Player of the Year, is looking at the possibility of playing for his 5th team in the last 5 seasons. We've heard about the Panthers potentially being interested in bringing him back. We've heard about the Cowboys potentially interested in bringing him back. Gilmore has options. Justin Simmons at the safety position also is a possibility as well. Anybody looking for a safety, Justin Simmons could be your guy. Simmons has been very good the last few seasons. 3 interceptions last year, 6 in 2022, which was a career high. Also had 2 forced fumbles last year and 3 forced fumbles kind of surprised that he's still sitting around waiting to see where he will go. Where do you think Justin Simmons is going to sign? Let us know in the comments section. Get your predictions in where Justin Simmons is going to end up. Micah Hyde also on this list, a little bit older now, 33 years old Micah Hyde is, but he's coming off a year where he bounced back off of the injury that he had in 2022 that forced him to miss 2 games. Still had 54 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 7 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of NFL Daily. If you made it to the end of today's video, spam a real one in the comments section. We certainly would appreciate it, and we'll see you next time here on NFL Daily.